heart attack in your food. The slow kill has arrived. See the all-seeing eye. So push back. It's time to awake. We've forgotten our power. We've forgotten our place. We're under attack, but don't be afraid. We're an army for truth. Stay together, don't break. Patriots awaken. Crooked are the fallen. Twisted games they play with lives. Now what have we done? We let them overrun. We gave them a foothold. We gave them our minds and our hearts. We almost gave them our souls. But now we're taking their control. Pick up the fallen. Reach out and take a brother's hand. Stand fast for the truth, 'cause it starts with you. We are the chosen, but it's not for the faint of heart. We fight for the truth. We fight for you. So push back, it's time to awake. We've forgotten our power, we've forgotten our place. We're under attack, but don't be afraid. We're an army for truth. Stay together, don't break. Patriots awaken. It's time to awake. We've forgotten our power, we've forgotten our place. We're under attack, but don't be afraid. We're an army for truth. Stay together, don't break. Patriots awaken. We fight for the truth. Patriots awaken. Patriots awaken. Patriots awaken. Fight for the truth. Patriots awaken. Please awaken. Patriots awaken. I was in the deep, deep water, and it was hard to see the surface. I couldn't breathe. I surrendered. Clearly, freedom's dangerous. It's a threat to those in power. It's a threat to their lives. It's their demise. Call me a rebel, but my cause is as pure as the sun. It's freedom I desire, the sweet truth, no more lies. Global elitists with no one that they answer to are controlling your life. controlling your lives. And if you don't believe me, look at your meds, water, tech, and your food. This little kill has arrived. See the all-seeing eye. So push back. It's time to awake. We've forgotten our power. We've forgotten our place. We're under attack, but don't be afraid. We're an army for truth. Stay together, don't break. Patriots awaken. Crooked are the fallen. Twisted games, they play with lives. Now what have we done? We let them overrun. We gave them a foothold. We gave them our minds and our hearts. We almost gave them our souls. But now we're taking their control. Pick up the fallen.
Hello guys, how's everyone doing today? I hope you're well. Today I just wanted to kind of get on. Hello guys, how's everyone doing today? I got audio coming through. I just wanted to get on, kind of talk about a couple things that were, thank you Ninja, that were kind of bothering me regarding the Q movement, the fake information coming out, and things related to that. I really think that unity is going to be our strongest asset we have currently, and I'm seeing a lot of division, mainly on the boards, more so than the social networks and things like that. But as you can see, this episode, or whatever you want to call it, is called All Assets Deployed. It's related directly to the fact that literally all assets are being deployed on both teams, both sides, and that there's just a lot of people fighting for what they believe is right. And what is right is very subjective at times, and we need to understand how to hear people out, how to discuss things in an adult manner, and really kind of be united. You know, I see fake news coming out. I see these images of Hunter Biden doing drugs off of a woman that is clearly fake. It's not Hunter Biden. It's someone else. That doesn't make it any better. But we kind of need to vet our sources before we jump on whatever looks good, because it's making us look bad. You know, we need to really think before we act, because actions have consequences. And if we don't think before we act, it allows people to use that against us. Welcome, Bones. So, as I introduced last week, our site went live on Monday last week, late at night. It's available to everyone now. You don't have to have a special link to access it. So, I kind of want to talk about the news that's kind of everywhere. You know, Hunter Biden's the big topic. a lot of people are trying to just be the first to the news. That's why a lot of people have put out that false image that is not Hunter Biden. And you know, if we're supposed to be researchers and disseminators of truth, like Ninja says, a correction is very important if we make mistakes. But it would be even better if we didn't make these types of mistakes. And then the other thing is, a lot of people are getting banned from different platforms, YouTube that I'm using right now, Twitter, uh, a whole bunch of other platforms are just axing people left and right. And these are people who might have made a living off of this and what they do, providing the news, being a good outlet. And it's tragic to see these things, to see that big tech has such an influence over what we can and can't do. You know, it's becoming Orwellian, to say the least. Our 17 buddy gave us a nice image about the Ministry of Truth and how this comment can no longer be viewed due to the Ministry of Truth deciding that this is not a valid comment. And we need to do what we can to fight this. And there are ways to work around big tech censorship. I'm going to address a couple of them today via meme camo and things like that. And try to explain in the easiest way possible to everyone how to camouflage their memes in order to allow them to reach a greater percentage of people. Like I know with my account, Baby Fist, it doesn't matter if I camo my memes. I'm fully shadow banned. Only if you follow me will you see them. But there are people who are not shadow banned who would really benefit from using some sort of meme camouflage. So I'm going to jump right into that. If we look over here, let me rearrange some stuff so it looks nice for you guys. So you should be able to see this. This is 8kun.top/QR memes resource 606, which is meme camouflage. I'm going to zoom in, give you a better view. If you're not familiar with 8kun, reach out to me. I'm going to be shortly doing a session with some people I know to kind of introduce them to the free speech platform that is 8kun, to get them familiarized with it and allow them the ability to actually use it. Because there's not a lot of places where you actually have free speech on the internet anymore. Back to the Orwellian comment, you know, everything's either the 2 minutes of hate or full censorship. You know, Twitter's just full of endless 2 minutes of hate. Just vitriol, spit back and forth. Same thing on Facebook, same thing on, I don't know, I don't use Instagram, but probably it's on Instagram too. And there's a saying that says, you know, you get more bees with honey. And it's true, you know. Thank you, D. You get more bees with honey, basically, you know. Just spitting hate all day on Twitter to your adversaries isn't going to change anyone's mind. So be creative, be thoughtful, be loving, be better than your opponent. Because by stooping to the lowest common denominator, you're not going to get anyone. You know, you may feel good when you make a hateful comment or a rude comment to someone, and you'll feel great for a moment, but then it's over, like the 2 minutes of hate in 1984. So just be thoughtful in what you're doing. Um, So I'm just going to scroll through this. This was the original one provided by the number 17 right here with the four corners, which eats up 20% of your image or modifies your image to be 20% different. And we found, based on the current algorithms, that 20% is about the minimum that you have to change an image to make sure that the algorithm cannot catch it. So this is stage one, you know. So if you could see, there's a couple examples of it. And then there's full-on top camouflage or topography, whatever you want to call it, on top of an image. This is, I don't know, like a matrix style overlay. You know, so this is very useful, and if you come into this thread and look around, I'll drop it here in the chat for everyone. So if you're not familiar, you could come look with me. Yep, it looks like it went through. So as you can see here, you know, there's information about it. There was an old post on Q Research that has since fallen off the thread, I mean the board, into the archive. So, you know, this is kind of the gist of it. Select a camo overlay, apply the camo on top of the image, upload the modified camo image to TinyEye to see if it recognizes the image. We've tested this with many images that are easily recognizable, easily offensive to some people to make sure that these digital camouflages work. There's a lot of people that I know that have worked very hard on this. You could see many, there's all different kinds. Come in here, use them, share them, give them to your friends, create your own, drop more, test them before you drop them if this is something you're capable of doing, making these transparent overlays. So there's probably about 75 in this thread that are ready to use and ready to go. So this is candy corn for Halloween. Check that out. Oh man, I'm competing with POTUS. That's never good for me. um, there's some code here if you are on a Linux system that you could use. There's examples of things like this. This is a image that cannot be shared on Twitter without getting your account banned, that if you use these overlays, you can now share them. There's some dark overlays that people are requesting to make into camos that later in this thread you'll see that someone did. So there's lots of ways to work around this, but find out what works best for you, what works best with your skill set, and begin to do them. Because we're at crunch time. I'm going to pop over to here and we're going to look at this clock. As you can see here, this clock is a countdown to the presidential election. It says there's 17 days, 8 hours and 25 minutes until the election is over, which will be midnight on the 3rd, I believe is what this timer is counting down to, even though it's really not midnight technically, but we should know by then that the election is over. We're done submitting ballots. So we have roughly 17 days. Tomorrow will be the 17th when we have exactly 17 days left. That's a little bit of a coincidence that on the 17th we have 17 days left and there's just massive, massive amounts of information coming out and being censored regularly to Yeah, exactly. And you could get around that fact checker that you're mentioning by using these meme camouflages. Like they might in 1 week, 2 weeks give you a fact checker, but you get to get your information out without the disinformation campaign being run against the message that you're pushing. So use these things if you can. There's websites where you could just choose one image and another image and slap them on top of each other directly on the internet. You don't need any software on your computer to get it done. I'm not going to recommend any. There's hundreds of them that are available online that you could use to achieve those same things. Well, I would recommend Buffalo Trace, personally. Ninja, Buffalo Trace. It always helps me. And then this that you're looking at right here was the beta for our new site, which you could see over here, which is ABCU with all of the feeds from the different real news, other news, fake news, and then ABCU content, which is content written by either anonymous sources or named sources who are who are working on the ABCU board to put out this type of information to bring it to the masses. Um, it's their thoughts, opinions, but the difference between us and them is if you see at the bottom of all of ours, we try to give you all of our sources where we got our ideas, information, thoughts, and ideas to present to you. That way you could choose whether our thoughts and ideas are accurate or palatable to your liking. So there's I like to say that we at ABCU are not arbiters of truth. We want you to decide for yourself. That's why I give you the option of viewing the fake news on our site. That's why I give you the option of viewing the 8kun notables, the Q posts, the alternative media, as the mainstream media would call it. And you could decide for yourself. Our site is fully searchable. You can um, you could find out what you want in one stop. You don't have to have 9 tabs open to read about a certain information that is flowing. You could get the views from the right, the left, the fake news, the real news, alternative media, us, the ABCU team, and others. If you want to write for ABCU, if you want to get your opinion out, just come to our board. It's as easy as going to our About page and joining the fight right here. You just click this, and boom, you're in the fight. You start talking here, you know, we're going to look at this current news one, which is a new thread we started, I believe, yesterday to kind of cover the new events with our Falcon Wizard, SEAL Team 6, the Iranian bribe, Benghazi's connections, and we we kind of work together to find out what's really going on. Jump we don't want to be first. We're not ever going to be first to tell you the story about anything because the truth takes time. It takes a minute to find out who and what is going on. You know, if you just jump up trying to be the loudest voice and get your word out first, you're just chasing clout. And we don't care about clout. I don't care how many people follow me. I care how many people our ideas influence. So come on here, check it out. There's a lot of great information between all of the threads. There's information about Biden's laptop, as you could read here, how it was received by the Mac shop owner, why he continues to have it, and why and how he protected himself by reaching out to DOJ and reaching out to Senate in order to protect his own behind because he was afraid of retaliation from the Biden camp. And, there's a lot of this that the mainstream media wants to be censored. It's why there's the big push to ban Q accounts, ban anyone who tries to bring you truth. So come in here and read this. I don't want to just read my screen to you guys, but this is very important right here, this section. Obama wrote a letter to Ty's dad. Ty was one of the young men who died as part of the Chinook being shot down with an RPG. And U.S. forces couldn't arrive in time, is what Obama stated. The military forces were not close enough, and he directed his national security team to do everything possible. His actions would have been the same if the attached had been against a member of his own family. And these are just outright lies. They did not do those things. They did not attempt to recover these individuals. They did not attempt to save these individuals. And like people have been saying, it was basically a hit job on these people, these elite soldiers who knew too much. And all of this is slowly coming out due to this guy, the falconer, who was a falconer for a political leader for 20 years. So these people have a lot of great information that I work with, and they want to share it with you. And the only way this information gets out is if someone like me, or you, or you, or you, or you are out there sharing it. It's not going to be covered by the mainstream media. Tucker Carlson maybe might cover it. But besides him, I don't see other people working to cover this. So this may be a LARP. It may be really Chanel Rayone who was posting on 4chan, but we won't know until all of the information comes out. What this basically says is that all the information is going to come out at the same time. Many sources all have it, and that they will drop it in one big boom. That way, it's irrefutable when the information comes to light. So I'd appreciate it if you guys could come here, check all this out, look at it for yourself. Like I said, I'm not just going to read to you what's on my screen. I'm not a big fan of other people doing that. We have a lot of great information about COVID. If you just want to chat with us, there's plenty of people and places to chat on here and to really address, whatever you want to talk about. We have a QFWAC, frequently asked questions, that has been translated over to our site over here if you're interested, or you have someone who you think might benefit from knowing a little bit more about Q, not from the mainstream media perspective, where they're going to tell you that the Democrats are evil according to QAnon supporters, and that the the satanic pedophile cult is the only thing that they talk about. I've went through this in previous episodes here on our channel that state how many times Q has said Satan, Satanist, pedophile, and the answer is almost none. So use your own discernment, use your own brains, think for yourself, don't follow the leader if the leader's lying to you, you know. So come check this out. There's a lot of good info in here. Once again, I'm not going to read you my screen. abcu8co.co/q-FAQ. I'm going to link it right here for you guys. So if you want to share that on your social medias or whatever, feel free to, yeah, depending where you are, Ermina, and what your internet service provider is, they may limit your access to 8kun.top. Censorship. I don't know what else to say about it. But you could come here, you could look at all this. If you click any of these, it'll take you right to the board where it was originally posted, so you could read it from the original poster. I did not write all this. This is a joint collaboration of a bunch of Anons who worked together to create this, to give you news or information about Q based on an Anon's perspective, and not just the perspective of the mainstream media, because the mainstream media has lied to us about so many things: pharmaceuticals, asbestos, you name it, they've lied to us about it. Why would they not be lying now? You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I won't get fooled again, to quote George Bush. You know, so use your own discernment. I know not everyone has time. We tried to make this easily digestible. I think it's 20 or less questions and answers that really kind of cut to the point about what QAnon is about. So get in here, check it out. If you have input, you don't like what we're saying, reach out to me directly. I have no problem giving the input to the Anons who created this. You could reach out to me directly via Twitter on ABCU_8, or you could email me at our Gmail account or our Proton Mail account, whichever you prefer. You could come on the board, leave a suggestion right here in our suggestion thread, and you know, we're open. This is to be your voice. Oh my gosh, Cory Booker, it's been so long. I'm so glad to see you. That's the goal, Pattern Seer. It's updated hourly. ABCU is. So if you check back every hour, there'll be new information from all of the sources. And you know, we want this to be your voice. If you have an article you want to write anonymously, drop it here. I'm sorry. Drop it here. Op-ed General. This is anyone's writing. Anyone can come in here, drop a writing, and if you follow our format and our structure, I'll upload it to the site. All you have to do is quote your sources, put a date on it, give it a title, and I'll put it up for you. No problems. Yeah, if you're having trouble getting to ABCU 8, it's just censorship again. They don't like us because we are protected via DDoS protection by Van Wa Tech. This company right here, they also provide services to 8kun.top, as well as other websites that people don't want the information getting out of. They're kind of like Cloudflare as far as their DDoS protection. They offer other services. Our developer set it all up for me. I'd like to thank you, developer. I really appreciate you and everything you've done for me and us, the movement, and what you continue to do. I don't think I thank you enough, but I'm pretty sure you know how thankful I am. I hope you're watching because we went from, like I said, this to that site that you see now. If you would prefer something like this, I leave this site up for all of you who would prefer something like this as well. I have, limited resources, but while I have the resources, I'll keep both of these things up for as long as possible to support us, our movement, the ability for everyone to speak freely, to get news uncensored. We pull it as soon as they write it. So, you could look at each of these, click them off as you read each of them to continue down the line. Some of them have broken over time, like qmap.pub no longer exists. So, I will link this in chat for you folks if this is more what you're into. I'm going to pop over to my other platform, see if anyone's commenting, questions, suggestions, and such. And, oh, doesn't look like it pushed that link through. That's a shame. Here on Twitch, we're live. You got our Twitter feed if you're watching on Twitch. We appear to have one person there. If you're on VK, I'm also live there. Currently, we're live on DLive, YouTube, Twitch, VK, Vaughn Live. So, you could talk to me privately about that if you would like. I don't seek funding due to the fact that information should be free. I'm just the person who wants it to be free. And I don't see enough other people doing it. So, you know what they say, if you want something done right, do it yourself. Yeah, just email me via one of these and we'll talk about it privately, Ginger. I don't really want to request it or have a Patreon or anything like that, because if people do want to give any sort of monetary value to keep this up and running, I don't want other people to receive it. Patreon doesn't need your money. Whatever other services don't need your money. YouTube Super Chat doesn't need your money. So that's how I feel about it. If people want to support it, yeah, that's cool. But it's a joint effort. Eventually, you know, things always work out. That's how I look at it. But then I really wanted to talk about what's going on Q Research. I don't know how many people in the chat right now spend a significant amount of time on the Q Research boards, but I know I do. I probably spend too much time on them, honestly. Um, but it's important. And currently, we'll just go to it. I don't have it saved on this one. There seems to be some infighting. I'm not going to go into the threads right now. I'm just going to say, you know, here at Q Research, there seems to be a lot of infighting between who's the good guys, who's the bad guys. And it does not matter. What matters is the information gets out. And there seems to be a stifling of information getting out. And I'm not trying to blame a specific person or a specific group, because like I've told you all before, there's no need to blame sex or SECTS, sex, or organizations or groups, because people are responsible for things. Just like I don't take a gun to trial, I take a person to trial. So unless we find out the person that's responsible for the subversion that's happening on the boards, that is manipulating the notables, because let's just go over to here and look at the notables. These are directly sourced from the 8kun boards that are created and uploaded by Anons. If you click this link, it'll take you directly to We Are the News, a friend of ours here at ABCU who puts in a lot of the work to get it off of Q Research into the masses' hands. And a lot of people rely on this site. The site has went down a couple times or stopped aggregating due to infighting and things like that. And this is not what we need 17 days before the election. What we need is honesty, transparency, and clarity for the people that we are trying to help, the people we're trying to deliver this news to. And by dividing us and infighting, it causes these issues that are unforeseen, you know. So let's just see if there's one here at the top that is not notable but added to notables. That is just, if you're familiar with the Chans or 8kun, it's called division fagging. And it is the act of sowing or inciting division to just cause division for division's sake, rather than doing what is important for the movement. And as this division and subversion see, like this is not notable. It's not important to people outside of the boards. The purpose of notables is to, exactly, it's a distraction. It's to get the information that we as Anons and researchers and citizen journalists work on and find and dig and meme to get out to the masses. And by adding things like this, it's division. And division isn't what makes us win. I'm sure of it. You could look at all the Q posts. Unity, together we win, where we go one, we go all, are some of the biggest themes in Q drops. And the people that are doing this are doing it as a, like Ginger says, a distraction to say, look here while things are happening over here. And it's gotten to a point where the actors that are doing these nefarious activities are using tactics very similar to the mainstream media, where you just repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat until it becomes factual. And it's a very good technique as far as psychological operations and IIAs, if you've watched Shadowgate and you know what that means. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of get this out. Someone should clip that, send that to the boards or whatever. I usually don't post my own content to the boards, but this is a serious issue, guys. It's affecting the 4K screen. The print's like this tiny. Here, I'll show you how big my print is. That's how big it is for me, guys. I'm not blind, it's just 4 feet away and that small. Yeah. So and these continue. There's a bunch of them. I'll just type in here and you'll see all the subversion. It does take a second to use the search feature. It searches every post, title, as well as, see, it's just endless. Division, division, division. Oh, not this one. This is a dog com. But this, division, division. I'm not going to read them all to you because what they're dividing about is not important. The fact that you recognize that it's division is important. And I'm not saying I support comms, which is another board on 8kun. I'm just saying that this division is artificial. You know, I do talk to people on comms. I watch all of their baking classes. I have no issue telling anyone that. But I watch them to see what they're teaching, what they're talking about, what kind of information they're giving these anons who want to do more. And like I say often, together we win. Divided we fall. Abby made a great song recently regarding this. Her newest song, go check it out on the YouTubes and you'll be able to find it. Yep, see, they're lying about me. Apparently I'm part of comms. That's me, the board owner of ABCU. But see, the difference between me and them is I'll put my face up here. I'll tell you the truth. I don't care. I'm not afraid to be doxxed. Dox me. I'm cool with it. Go ahead. Tell everyone everything about me. I'll tell you my real name. I know I call myself George Orwell. Ask me my real name. I'll tell you. Ask me in private. I'll tell anyone. I'm not hiding like most people. I use a fake name because we're bringing you real news. I like to say fake names, real news, because my name doesn't matter. What I did before doesn't matter. It's what is the information that matters. You know? So just keep an eye out when you're using the boards for division faggotry, which is a term on the boards. I'm not being derogatory towards homosexuals. Um, you know, more division, more division. This has been going on for over a month. That's why I'm talking about it at this point. You know, the first week, I talked internally with people. I talked on the boards. Now, I'm over it. I'm talking publicly. I want everyone to know what's going on. And like I said, I'm not going to point fingers. I know who it is. I know what they're doing. But I'm not here to point fingers. I'm here to tell you to decide for yourself. Think for yourself. Look at the facts that are there, not the narratives. The mainstream media gives you narratives. Oh, thank you, fake Twitch follower, for spamming. Thank you, another fake Twitch follower, for spamming. So, like I said, if you use the boards, use your own discernment. Don't listen to me. For real. Just think on your own when you see this stuff happening. Is this natural? Is this factual? Or is it a narrative? Is this fabricated? Or is it natural? Is it, you know? So I'm not telling you to blindly trust comms bakers, but I will tell you, I've been following them since the comms board opened. I've been watching them. I've been watching what they do for the Anons. Are there some bad actors in comms? Probably. Are there some bad actors on the ABCU board? Definitely. Do some of them have mod access that I gave them? Yeah. But you know what? I'm willing to trust someone before I distrust them. Until you prove to me that you can't be trusted, I want to trust you. Because I want to trust humans. I want to believe that we're all here for the right reasons. That we want to see MAGA, basically. We want America to be great again. That all of us are actually attempting to do the right thing. Because it's real easy to do the wrong thing. Trust me. I know. It's real easy to do the wrong things. It's easier to do the wrong things than the right things most of the time. Something about a fork in the road, path less traveled. You know what I'm getting at. But you know, let's see what they did say about me. Oh look, let's see. Oh come on. I don't think. Oh, this is me. Oh yeah, that's me. Oh look, I'm saying exactly what I told you guys. Remember, those who foment division are division fags. Remember image one. That is ICQ people dropped by Q where he says they want you divided, divided by race, divided by religion, divided by culture, divided by class, divided by political affiliation. Divided, you are weak. Together, you are strong. We, the people. Where we go one, we go all. And then I linked a story that I'm pretty sure I've shared with most of the people here in this chat that watch me regularly, that I talk to regularly. It's The Right to Read by Richard Freeman. It's a fictional story about the year 2096 where uh, a, a gentleman wants to use someone else's computer and cannot, and it's big controversy because of division, censorship, and basically, uh, what is it, Digital Rights Management Act, DMRA, or whatever it's called. So if we are divided, we cannot have the same impact as we have together. Only together do we win. Use your voice, use your vote. V plus V equals W. I know all of you have seen me say that, heard me say that, and then I list some people who actually want the Anons divided. The deep state, the CIA, parts of the NSA, the FBI, some foreign countries, the Clinton Foundation, Barack Hussein Obama, Brennan, Comey, Clapper, Strzok, Page. Um, that list goes on, all the way down to Kevin Kleinsmith, the only person who got busted so far, and many others with self motives over American motives. Remember, Anons, we are not divided. Others project division to foment FUD and FOMO. FUD and FOMO are money terms basically for the stock market and trading that um, have that mean fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's what FUD is. And then FOMO is the fear of missing out. So basically, people are hopping on the bandwagon because they're afraid that they might be wrong or that that person might be right. And to stir up these type of things is problematic, to cause this type of a division. And then I say some follow and some lead. We need more leaders, not followers. We have plenty of people who follow. Plenty of people follow. They follow the big names on Twitter. They follow the big names on social media. They follow the certain journalists. We have plenty of followers. What we need in this world are more leaders. There aren't enough people willing to put their own neck on the line to lead. Like I said, dox me. Go ahead. Tell everyone who I am in real life. And then I'll tell you who I really am after they try that crap. So then I referenced the image 2 about the right to read by Richard Stallman. You could see that post here on the ABCU board under the wire, which is, information from some of my confidential friends. I've told you all about them before, but the right to read is right here. For those curious about the right to read. You only have to go as deep as you want. Remember that. Patterns here. You don't have to be on the boards the amount of hours I am. You don't have to be on the boards the amount of hours the people I work with are. That's not what's important. What's important is that you understand the messages that are being put out, that you Yeah. Oh, I get it. I get it, Corey. Um, I've exposed many on there. I know some of you are on the boards. I know some of you probably recognize me when I post. I have a very noticeable writing style, as well as my imagery. Some call me Patch Fag, some call me Laughing Man, some call me Baby Fist, some call me Crap Napkin. You know, I've got lots of names, but I've got one message, and that's what's important. Like I said, my name just doesn't matter. That's why I'm willing to tell you all of my little names or whatever. Like George Orwell, that's what I go by here, because the people who are watching this type of content relate with something like that. While the people on the boards will understand my laughing man comment and might understand the quote that's up here regarding JD Sally. Oh, JDS. I don't know. The image for the laughing man is from J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye, which is I would rather be. Should I be a deaf mute? That'll be an easy way to find it. Deaf. So I thought what I'd do. I thought what I'd do was I'd pretend I was one of those deaf mutes. That way I wouldn't have to have any goddamn stupid, useless conversations with anybody. If anybody wanted to tell me something, they'd have to write it on a piece of paper and shove it over to me. They'd get bored as hell doing that after a while, and then I'd be through with having conversations for the rest of my life. Everybody think I was just a poor deaf mute bastard and they'd leave me alone. I'd cook all my own food, and later on, if I wanted to get married or something, I'd meet this beautiful girl that was also a deaf mute, and we'd marry. She'd come and live in my cabin with me, and if she wanted to say anything to me, she'd have to write it on a piece of paper like everybody else. And that may not resonate with everyone, but it's all about thinking about your life versus living your life. Because Holden, the main character in that story, thinks this is a good idea because he's tired of talking to stupid people, basically. And it's his choice whether he chooses to interact with these people of low intellect and low skill level. And if he would elevate his own standards, he could have better conversations, have better interactions, rather than the what does he call them? GD stupid useless conversations. You know? So it's all about perspective, guys. It's all about how you see it. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. And, you know, this goes on. I'm probably in here again. This was when I was talking on the comms boards. If you look real hard, you can see who it is. I'll zoom in for you guys real quick. And then we're going to close that out. So the division that's happening is basically false. open your eyes, wake up, whatever Q normally says. But don't let this be the end of what's important to you. Don't let this stop the flow of information. Don't let this small hiccup be the end. You know, a bunch of accounts have fallen. You know, there's a whole list. It was here earlier today. It's probably already off the board. SV News has a whole list of who's who and what's going on. Let's see. SV News. Because they are purging us, guys. All these people are gone as of yesterday. Destroying the Illusion, Red Pill 78, Praying Medic, Joe M, iPod, X22 Report, Edge of Wonder, Sergeant Report, Space Shot 76, Woke Society, Amazing Polly, Truth and Art TV, Patriot Soapbox, Dustin Nemos, and we know Stropey Me. I really enjoyed him. Just Informed Talk, Sarah Westall, and that's not all of them that they got. Those are just the ones that most people will recognize no matter what. Because they have big platforms, loud voices. But remember, not everyone who screams the loudest is right. So, and that's just on YouTube. And most of these people have been banned and removed from Twitter multiple times. They continue to come back. Very happy for them. If you want to get involved with ABCU 8, join us on the board, say hello. That's step one. And then, you know, you could always email me an article as well. That's why there's multiple ways to contact me. If you want to remain anonymous or you're not comfortable using the boards, just email it. Most people know how to email. So I think that's about all I have to say today, guys. Any questions, comments, concerns, retorts to what I have to say? Maybe we have some haters in here who want to comment. I did not share this with QR before I went live. Like I said, I try not to share my own content that often. No, it's not about politics only, Ermina. It's your voice. Anyone used to be able to write the paper, and if the paper liked it, they would publish it in the op-ed section. That's why we call all of ours op-eds, because it either means opposite the editor or opinion editorial, and those just don't exist anymore. Our only requirement is if you are talking about politics or current events or things like that, that you confirm it with at least one source that could be confirmed by another source. You know, even if it's a fake news source, I'll accept it. I won't like it. I'd prefer something else. But Santa Surfing, did she get canned? I enjoy Santa Surfing. Yeah, I reached out to a couple of them and told them about the Tiger Network, told them to check out Torah3.net. It's could be big, could be really big. There's some things I don't like about it. I've voiced my opinion to Jim regarding it, and you know, everything's a work in progress and takes time to compete with multi-billion-dollar tech companies to try to get on their level. I recommend that you read, so there'll be a new section here. I still got to upload some of our non-ABCU content that I showed you earlier, which is this content. Like I said, all you have to do is follow our simple rules for how to upload content. I know all my friends have seen this. I find it very important. So check out the header in our board right here. It's at the top of each thread to understand what our expectations are, who some of our friends are, who we share our information with. Like I've told everyone on my board, I send, not only do I do it to our website, I send it to the press, certain outlets, and they do what they will with it. Everything posted under the ABCU section is Creative Commons 4, attribute, and what's it called? I don't know, where you could deviate from exactly what we wrote. You'll notice some very influential people have talked about what we talked about right after we talked about it. You could go through our blog and compare the dates, and then some things that I'm pretty sure people were all a fan of have talked about it shortly after. So why the unmasking of General Flynn matters. This was something written by an anon. Here are the two sources. Questions swirl around Susan Rice's declassified emails. Here's two sources. This is something I personally wrote. It's an opinion piece. It's about space. It was right after the SpaceX launched the new rocket with NASA into space with a first mission since whatever. So these are all my sources. Say by Patchfag, Babyfish, whatever you want to call me. I don't care. Um, Bye bye, these viewers. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you for tuning in and being friends. I hope you enjoyed what I talked about today. If you didn't, I'm glad you listened. So, you know, I did that. This is work that we took from QR. We requested the author if we could use it. An op-ed about George Floyd and the ensuing riots. Sources. So some of this still needs to be added. That's in this specific thread. And these are all people who may or may not actually be ABCU staff members. This one is pretty good. So get in here, join us, or don't. It's cool either way. I'm glad you guys are coming here. This is one of our writers. He uses a name, John Clear. He does great work. He also writes on redstate.com. I think that's what it is. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming out, tuning in, and thank you, D. I really appreciate you. Sorry I couldn't join you today. This was just kind of impromptu. I've kind of had, you know, enough of what's going on, what I brought up today, and it's only hurting the movement. It's not hurting Anons. We all can see what's going on the board. We all understand. This is about COVID and masks and whether they're effective. Is hydroxychloroquine effective, or is it quack cure? Or is it being lied to by the media, mainstream media? So we try to be as thorough as possible. A lot of our links that are archive links are that by choice, because a lot of these mainstream media news outlets will update their articles based on what has happened rather than leaving it as written, which is some real 1984 ever present now over writings that this is how it was written. There's more here. It's about InfoWars. We also write some other stuff, like I've read to you guys the Why We Fight, which is just kind of motivational, less factual based. So if you want to submit something like that, I will also upload it to the site. The Die is Cast by Anon. This is about the CCP and Mike Pompeo when he spoke about it. So this is how we used to upload them to Twitter to get around the censoring of the algorithms. So, I'll share this one with you guys too. Yeah, I will do a class, Pattern Seer, via Discord if you'd like to. I told a couple people in our group to pick a day and time, and I'll do a live session with people on voice in my ear, so questions could be answered immediately, no text, just talking back and forth. I assume you're in one of our friends' Discords, whether it's Ninja, Blue Eyes, my Discord, or D-Tom's Discord. I don't have it readily handy on this PC I'm on right now, Pattern Seer, but if you slide in my DMs, I could find you something like that. Babyfist on Twitter, ABCU_8 on Twitter. Just slide into the DMs. They're both open. I respect everyone's voice, even those people who say mean things about me. I respect their voice. So, I don't know. That's kind of my point. I'm not going to go into the news. I've already been talking for an hour and a half. Like Donald Trump, I just don't shut up. Okay, well, you know how to find me. You're on Twitter, right? Just DM me on Twitter. We'll get it set up. Or I'll record the session and I'll send it to you with all their questions and whatnot. And then one more thing before I get off, because you're talking about the new fags. We have this thread right here. It's called New Fag General. And there's basically a breakdown of how to use the board. It's like, welcome, we were all new at one point. If you're new to image boards, it's recommended that you read the FAQ on the board and our FAQ. And then it explains how to navigate it. Each board consists of the following: a board, which is all of everything that's encompassed within ABCU, then the threads, which is each topic with an OP, which is a original poster right here. It's the first post in the thread, and then each post after that is a post. There's two ways to navigate the board. If you come up here, you can see there's the catalog, and then if you hit return, it goes to index. So catalog is what we've been looking at all day. Index is kind of like an RSS feed. It's got the OP post right here, suggestion general. We'll go down to new fag so we could be looking at what we're talking about. So it's got the OP post, and then it's got the most recent post based on time. So if there were a couple today in here, it would have the most recent few. And then if you click expand, it'll expand everything in between those. So let's go back over to here. Where were we? And then how to create a thread. I link you to the FAQ on the site, and then I link you to how to create a thread on my board because I have extra rules beyond what just the rules of it on 8kun are. Always check the catalog. So let's go over to the catalog. You could go here and you could be like, I want to talk about Hunter Biden. And you're like, oh, cool, there's three threads. Do any of these relate to Hunter Biden? And you're like, oh, cool, this one's perfect. So is this one. You know, and then you could read the OP and be like, huh, okay, yeah, this one's better, you know? So so let's go back over to here. We remove threads if you don't follow our rules, not just the global rules. You have to have a valid topic, a valid intro into it. And then how do you post? Don't fill out the email. You don't have to fill out the subject unless you're the OP. Name, don't fill this out ever. Unless you're inputting a trip code or something like that to verify your identity. And then, yeah, this all explains it. And then here's links to us, information about us. I do have a media kit. I should update that. I have a bunch of files. I have a shared drive that is open to everyone with a bunch of good information in it. I'll update this now that I'm looking at it here in the next day or two. And then a non-op-ed journal. This is staff thread. This is where you could submit your submissions. And then it goes in to the thread. And, you know, we've had people come by and ask questions about using a VPN, Twitter anonymity. ABCU is Roxy. Clever people writing backwards. But yep, that's it, guys. I really appreciate everyone coming out. I really appreciate you listening to my thoughts, opinions, ideas, and all that. Until next time, be well, be good, and I'll see you then. Much love. Have a good one. No problem, D.